All right, guys. It is Rick Ginn. We are on the Rick Ginn channel. And today we're talking about the 5 ways to make 100K during a real estate crash, mostly for beginner wholesalers. And not only am I going to walk you through what I'm doing today, I'm going to show you what I did way back in the day from basically 2008 through 2012 that made a tremendous difference and allowed me to make a ton of money while I was wholesaling. So I've got some experience in this and I want to share it with you. And I'm also going to share some new techniques I've learned through recent times and what you can do. But it always comes down to you taking a massive amount of action. You guys just can't hire gurus and expect to do deals. The truth of the matter is most of the problems we have in wholesaling are because people just study, and they don't actually take any physical action, and then they complain about it. So if you want to overcome that and you are looking to actually take actionable steps, you're in the right place. My name is Rick Ginn. I've been wholesaling for 21 years. That's right, 21 years of wholesaling. I know a thing or two. Honestly, there is nothing that you haven't thought of, done, or even like going to ask that hasn't happened to me. And the beauty of with my experience is I can share a lot of wisdom, a lot of things that will help you just when you're getting started out in wholesaling. And I'm here to tell you, if you found us through wholesaling, you are in the right place and you're in a safe place. So number one, you guys have the comment section. Do me a favor. Make sure that if you have a question, you just post your questions there. I answer most of the questions here. The reason I do the Rick Ginn, I also do the Flip with Rick channel, and it's more interactive because you guys can ask more questions. The second way you connect with me is you can join on our one-on-one links. Now, if you don't know how to do it, there is a link, I apologize, in my YouTube channel. Just click on there, make sure you're subscribed, and you can do a one-on-one, and I do it first come, first serve. And if you're on there, the odds of you talking to me are very high. Keep in mind, guys, I don't charge a dime for this. This is crazy. I literally give back 100%. I love how so many people say on the internet, I teach wholesaling for free, but I promise you there's a start-stop point for every one of them. And it is nothing more than a funnel for a big, giant ticket course. So we don't do pep rallies here. I don't do events where I'm trying to get you in a room to have you pay for my $5,000 package. I just show you how to get wholesaling. You don't have to hop on a plane. You don't have to do anything. That's why I kind of love this channel. So make sure you use the comments. You introduce yourself. Let us know where you're at. And also make sure if you want to do a one-on-one, there is a link in my YouTube channel. You can click on there, or I believe it's also in the StreamYard comment section under Rick Ginn. Just click on there. And this is the spot that we can all talk, communicate, and work together with. So what I'm going to do is take the first part of the show, and I'm going to walk through the 5 ways which you guys can prosper during hard economic times in real estate, which looks like we're going into it. Some of us already say we're here. Who cares? Because if you're in wholesaling, you're going to make money one way or the other, because we don't speculate. We don't do fix and flip. I don't do any of that stuff. So if you want to learn how to do it, let's jump on here. And if you have a question, you can put it in the comments there. If you want to do the one-on-one, make sure you hop on that link. It is in the comments. It's also in the YouTube Rick Ginn channel. Just click on there and just wait patiently, and I will take people first come, first serve. So with that being said, if you guys are brand new to wholesaling, I want you to do me a favor. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and my son have created a 100% free course. And guys, not just 500 people, not 800 people, not 1,000, not 10,000. Over 50,000 people have gone out and used freewholesaling.com and gone out and picked up not only their first check, but people well on the way to making $100,000 a month. And how they do it? Number one, they took the information and they took it for free because we want to teach you guys and get you out doing deals. Why? Because I want everybody on this channel to be successful. And number two, I want to eventually do a deal with everybody on this channel. How do I do it? I give you the real tools to go out and find real wholesaling deals instead of a lot of this junk that's peddled to you guys, flipping houses on the beaches, doing nothing, drinking margaritas. Sounds great in theory, but that's not how wholesaling works at all. So if that sounds exciting to you, then go over to freewholesaling.com And if you want to get your first deal, that's the best place to start. If you're working to get another 2 to 3 deals a month, go there, because I guarantee you I'll show you marketing techniques that will be of huge value to you, even though it's free. And so many people are like, well, it's free. What can I get for free? Well, the problem is everyone's misused free so bad. You don't even understand the value when you get a good quality product for free. Guys, I've been delivering this product over 3 years, 100% for free. Why? Because I make plenty of money in wholesaling. I don't need your coaching fees. And quite honestly, I don't want to be a slave and do 50 hours of live Zooms for people that are going to fail 95% of the time, which is the failure rate in wholesaling. So that being said, let's jump into it. As I said, if you got a question, put it on there and you can hop on the lives on one-on-one. Been raining like crazy in Florida here. Nuts. It's nuts. So how do you make 100K during a real estate market crash? Well, keep in mind that when markets are going backwards, the biggest driving rate on the real estate market right now is the interest rates. And it's really going to affect people in the higher price point homes. Either they're going to have cash to pay for them, or they're going to take out a huge mortgage with an interest rate of like 6.5%, maybe approach 7%, maybe, but I don't think it's going to do it. And the Fed just keeps upping the interest rate to try to get a grip on inflation in our economy. And right now we're at the kind of wait and see mark. It looks like they're probably going to do another increase. And remember, every time they put pressure on that interest rate, the reality of what they're trying to do two things. Their main goal is to bust inflation, but there's two factors that are most important in busting inflation in the Fed's eyes. And if you don't believe me, read their notes. And they make them available online, FOMC notes, and they do them, I believe, quarterly, if not monthly. It basically says on there, they're looking to bust the labor market, which means they want unemployment to go up so businesses can get more competitive in salaries. And until they do that, inflation's probably not getting under control. And then number two, they're looking to bust real estate prices, because real estate prices can't continue going up on an unsustainable level. So you guys know they've been going up ever since 2000, really 11, 12. So we're now approaching 11 years plus. That's kind of unheard of. And so getting those two things under grasp should take care of inflation. But the problem is nobody wants anyone to lose their job. And number two, nobody wants the value of their real estate to go down. And because inventories were so low early when we started in this, that it's just kind of weird in real estate. Now, there's definitely soft spots. So like in Florida, the high-end market is really, they're having tough times moving the product. The low-end stuff moves very fast. And then in other parts in California and New York, they're really having sticky price points. So, and it's sporadic throughout the United States. Sometimes like you don't understand why this one's not moving and this one is. As those inventory levels go up in real estate, you're going to see more of a stagnant market. And the first indication is you have to have inventory, because if there's inventory, if there's a lot of inventory, people have choices. And when people have choices, price wars start. And that's what you have to most understand when you're doing real estate is if inventory is low, there's not a lot you can do. If there's a ton of inventory, there's a ton of choices. So if you're looking at maybe, am I in one of these types of markets? The first thing you want to do is look at your inventory. So the first thing I did when, especially when this market hit, remember, I was doing very, very well. So for 2003, 4, 5, 6, I mean, I was just coming into my own. I was really cracking, 50, 70 grand a month. And then I got to tell you, things changed quickly. Now, the one thing that really saved me when I had a massive market shift, and keep in mind, guys, I'm making a comparison to a market that really is a once in a lifetime event. I don't think you're ever going to see what happened in 2007 to 2009, 10. You're never going to see it because it was all predicated on a mortgage bubble. The problem is the lending was so easy. They gave it to everybody, and the government backed all the mortgages through Freddie and Fannie, that it was really unsustainable. And they were writing bad mortgage out for bad mortgage. And Eventually, the government got caught in it, and that's why all the lending requirements tightened up, and that caused a big time recession, especially in the real estate market. And so here's what we did. So the first thing I'm telling you right now, let me take that off there. JV deals. And JV is just a fancy little acronym for joint venture. Now, you can do a joint venture with me and Zach, and I'll show you later in the live stream on how to do that. And we do a 50-50 deal. But I'm here to tell you, if you're just getting started and you found a motivated seller and you got a great price on it, sometimes it behooves you to work with a local wholesaler that's very knowledgeable in your market and will work through the deal with you and show you how to finish the paperwork, show you how to do it, and they split it with you. If you got a great deal, don't give that other JV partner 80% of the deal. That's just a greedy person, and you probably don't want to do much business with them. The most I would do is 60-40. That's if they had to fund it, put money into the deal, and they took you under your wings and they helped you out with wholesaling. I'm all about that. But I like 50-50 because it takes both partners' energy to go in and get the deal done. And a 50-50 deal is how, to me, is the fairest way to do a JV deal. Now, if someone's putting up money or other stuff like that, then you got to adjust the numbers accordingly. But here's what I did. I was really good at finding motivated sellers. Guys, I just went after and chased the government list. Like I'm going to teach you right now how to do. But I never spent any time cultivating my cash buyers. My focus was to do as many deals as I humanly possibly can, and I'll get better with dispositions. I waited too long to do that. And so what I would do is go out and find other wholesalers that had a robust cash buyers list. I would have my deal. I would tell them what I want. I always try to charge them a little bit more to compensate for the negotiations. And it worked out really, really well. In fact, I JV'd over half my deals in the first year and a half of doing this business. Why? Because I was struggling getting cash buyers. I wasn't that great at it. And honestly, I felt if I got really good at finding motivated sellers, I could eventually master dispositions. My suggestion is don't wait a year and a half like I did. But guys, if you're really good at cultivating cash buyers and you're not that great at getting deals, start working with someone that can help you out with that. But you want a synergy relationship where you're benefiting and the other partner is benefiting. So if you're both really good at cash buyers list, don't partner up together because it's not going to help you out. Go out and find someone that's really good at finding motivated sellers. And the idea is you take your weakness and you outsource it so you can get better at it. And ideally, I want to bring people in that are transparent that will help me learn it. That's how I really learned to get a great cash buyers list. And it helped my confidence in selling any of my deals. Did I give up some money? Yeah, in the beginning, but I got to be honest with you. It was really hard to move product from basically late 2008 to 2011. And so for 3 years, I was really good at JVing. In fact, all wholesalers were working together because here's the secret. There was more inventory than there was cash buyers. So we had to go out and get the absolute best deals possible. This wasn't possible without doing JV deals. Now, I don't think we're going to quite get to that point here, but I'm here to tell you, if you're in a market that's really softening up, start going out and working with these people. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, you tend to have to go through a lot of potential partners when you do this, meaning not every wholesaler is going to have good intentions like you do, and it drives me nuts. And you've got to understand that going into these deals. So go all out, find a good JV deal partner, someone you can work with. And remember, that JV partnership is only good per deal. So if you work with someone you didn't like how they worked, or they were very manipulative and they lying and they didn't help you out, then move on past that deal, take your pain and move on, because it never gets better after that deal. So many partners would tell me, make so many promises to me and stuff like that, and they never did it. And I kept giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm here to tell you, do not fall for that trap. They're already put their best foot forward. If their best foot forward stinks and it doesn't get any better, don't ever do business with them again. You will regret it massively. And I'm telling you, you do not want to deal with those types of deals. Now, JV deals, just make sure you get something that's very complementary to what you do. The next thing that probably saved my butt all during a down market are just creative finance deals. And I know what you're saying, go, hey, Rick, wait a minute. I'm a new wholesaler. I didn't come to this for creative financing. I get it. But I want you to open up to the concept now and understand it. Every now and then, there are deals out there that us wholesalers cannot cure, meaning they either owe too much money or they have some sort of problem why the deal can't close. And I always approach every deal as a wholesaler first. But you've got to be realistic. If somebody desperately needs to sell their home, they can't afford it anymore, or they're downgrading, or they had a family move or a job move, and it doesn't qualify for a cash deal like wholesaling, look at what's restricting it. And if it's the debt, look at what the cost of the debt is per month, the total mortgage payment with tax insurance and everything. And then look at what the rental rate is in the area and see if there's an opportunity. If there's an opportunity, then there's a way to take the deal down. Remember, not every deal has to be taken down traditionally. Now, I stayed away from these in my first 3 years because honestly, I didn't know how to do them. And after I've looked at creative financing deals, as long as you're transparent, honest, and open, and everybody 100% commits to it, they work out really well. Here's where creative financing doesn't work. You cannot make somebody do a creative financing deal. In fact, here's the secret to creative financing. Often, creative financing is the only solution to a seller's problem because the only way they can sell it is bring money to the table or lose the house to foreclosure or like a bankruptcy type of deal. And nobody wants that. So if there is opportunity to make it work, then pursue them. Honestly, most creative financing just has to pass the basic snuff test of common sense. So if the payments are $1,400 a month and the thing rents for $2,500 a month and the house is in good shape and they're only behind on one payment, there's a path to make that profitable. Here's my secret with creative financing, and here's how you stay out of trouble. Because by the way, anybody can do a creative financing deal. And a lot of people do creative financing with the hope of making money on the very back end. And I only do a creative financing when I can make money up front, or I'm prepared to take the risk of whatever types of monies I have to put up front. So if you're new to wholesaling, you're going to do creative financing. I'm going to walk you through the basic strategies, but make sure you're making money up front, and that way you never get in trouble. So many people are out there, they're so desperate to do creative financing because they don't think wholesaling works. And what they'll do is they'll buy a property and they'll put 15 or 20 grand down, and then they borrow the money from somebody else's or someone's 401k, and they have no idea how the deal is going to work, and they have no idea how they're ever going to get repaid back, maybe in 10 years down the road. Please don't do creative financing deals like that. So my simple creative financing deal is positive cash flow up front, positive cash flow every month, and positive cash flow when they cash me out. If you can't hit in all three areas, don't do it because you're at financial risk. And full disclosure, some of my first 3 creative financing deals I did, they all fell apart on me because the rental rates went so far backwards in Port St. Lucie that the rental rates were far below what the debt. And I actually had to give the houses back, and I actually paid people to take the houses back because I didn't have the foresight and I didn't understand it because somebody just told me to go out and do creative financing. And I even made positive upfront cash flow, and I still lost on the deal. Now, I learned a lesson is it has to work in all 3 areas: upfront, monthly cash flow, and at the very end. And if there's any type of risk, don't do it. So I'm going to walk through some of the basics on it right now so you understand. And I'm going to keep this very, very, very simple. Number 1, a subject to deal. It means you take the deal subject to the existing debt on the property. Very simple, very straightforward. And honestly, these are the most common types of creative financing deals you're going to do. What you're looking for, stuff that's got low interest rates. I love properties that have been paid down. And my favorite one is someone that has a 15-year mortgage on it. Why? Because it's paid down very fast and a significant amount of money goes to the principal. Now, what I want to do is I want to see a differential of at least $250 a month, if not $300 in cash flow. Why? Because rents can change, market conditions can change, prices can go backwards. Nobody ever tells you this about creative financing, but it's true. Prices can go backwards. We've gone up for a straight 11 years. We could be going in a period, depending on what market you're in, we could be going sideways, meaning there's no appreciation or little to appreciation, or you could be going to a market where it's going backwards. Now, I went to a market where the appreciation went back almost 50%. Unheard of. Look it up in Port St. Lucie. It was out of control. And so I did creative financing deals, and I got in trouble because I had very small margins in them, and I learned the hard way. Now, subject to is basically means if someone has a $200,000 mortgage on a house and the house is worth $200,000, you just take over the mortgage and the payments. Now, what can you do with it? You can do whatever you want. You can rent the house out. You can basically do like a rent to own. There's a million different strategies on it. But what you're looking for is the opportunity in the cash flow. And by taking over the property and letting somebody else take over position, that they don't have to do traditional bank qualifying. And if you guys don't know what traditional bank qualifying is, it's brutal these days. Lending requirements are tighter now than I've seen them in a long time. And a loan application is extremely exhaustive. They will underwrite you personally, then they'll underwrite the property, and then they'll probably underwrite your babies, your sisters, and everybody else involved. But subject to is probably the most common one. And honestly, these are the people that really, I only take subject twos over when they have no other choice. Now, here's the golden part of subject twos, which I'm going to go over a little bit later. You can do a subject to and a probate deal. They are the absolute best ones you can take over. Why? There's no resistance. Nobody cares. And the deceased person is gone and there is no real repercussions. So no one's credit's going to get killed. And honestly, you're going to make the payments anyways. I love to do probates because a subject to for a deceased person is an easy sell to the family. The problem with subject to is a lot of people want to go and buy another house and they want to fix their credit and do some other things, which you can help them with that. But eventually you have to cash out that subject to free them from it. And those are some of the problems with the subject to. But if the cash flow is there and they have no other option, they'll basically beg you to move forward with it. You just got to make sure they are 100% cooperative in all phases. If they give you any resistance, please don't do a subject to because it means they're not ready for them. The next one I did a lot of lease options. And lease options are very simple. It's just two contracts. Now, in the old days, we used to put them together, but I'm here to tell you, lease options is basically you option the property for X amount of time. Some people do it 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And it says, I give you $1,000 and I'm able to buy this property for this set price within 3 or 5 years, whatever time you frame you set. And then the lease part of it is basically a rental agreement. And every month you rent it, you get a little bit of money put towards the down payment of the property. And basically, after that 3 or 5 years period, you can either cash it out. What most people do is they find another end buyer to take over their position. They charge a premium on that. You make money up front. So if you collected $20,000 up front and you gave your seller $5,000, you made $15,000. Maybe there's some repairs in there. Then maybe you're making $300 a month on the mortgage payments over what they're paying you and what you leased it out for. And then when you sell it, if you're selling it for $225 and your agreement with them was $180, then you would make that $45,000 difference. And why I like these is they go super quick. They're easy. It doesn't matter if it has a mortgage or not. And a lot of times when people were renting their houses out, they would love to do this because they like the monthly cash flow. And a lot of them are trying to avoid tax implications, especially this time of year. You guys know what today is. Today is a day to get your taxes done, so to speak. So I love lease options. My favorite lease options are on nice, pretty big houses that don't need a lot of repairs. If they need a lot of repairs, this is a pain in the butt. But why? Because I can get somebody in there right away with no bank qualifying, and I know I can make 10 to 15 grand right off the bat. I will tell you, from 2008 to 10, I did a lot of these, and they worked out really, really well. And for the most part, most people wind up buying them. Now, please don't be one of those persons that tricks people into lease options, meaning when you go to sell it, you know they never have the ability to be able to buy it. They have terrible credit, and you're just going to take it away from them and keep their option payment. I don't like investors like that because I want to help anybody out. I have never, ever not had anyone fulfill a subject to or a lease option for me. And if they did, we either extended it or we renegotiated, or we found a pleasant way for them to get out to make it a win-win for everyone. So, and then the other one is owner financing. If people have really, what I take, premium properties and the market's not giving them what they want, and they're set at a number, they're always set at a certain number. So the beauty is, since they have no mortgage and no debt on the property, you can set whatever terms you guys negotiate to. So say they want $300,000 for a property, and maybe it's only worth like 270, 275. You can give them 300, you can give them a down payment, but you can stretch the payments out over 30 years, 40 years. You can do anything you want. You can have it balloon in 5 years. What I love about this is this deals with the sophisticated sellers that's completely set on a price. Now, the problem with owner finance typically is they all want a big, large down payment. But if we're in a soft market, guys, and there's no activity on the market, these types of properties, they get primed for anyone that will help them out. So you got to find a property that's sitting on the market for a while. Sometimes they're FSBOs, and they do work out really, really well. The next one, which I brought up early, is become a probate specialist. Guys, I got to tell you, if you only did probates, you wouldn't have to do much. You can actually work 2 full-time jobs and do probates. Ask me how I know this. Because probates by far are the most profitable, the easiest, in my opinion, in the wholesale, because they're typically vacant and they're just easy to sell. Why? Because they have deferred maintenance, they're vacant, and you can decide when you actually fund and close the deal. Because I teach you how to be a probate specialist by understanding you don't have to wait till the probate is completed at all. In fact, I teach you the opposite. The sooner you can get it under contract, the better off you're going to do on the probates. And guys, just by learning this little known fact, being a probate expert, you can dominate your market. And what I like about probates is they have 3 times higher profit level than your regular wholesaling deals. So even if you only did this strategy during a down market like we're in now, you're going to make 3 times the amount on your normal wholesaling deal. It doesn't mean you stop doing your normal wholesaling deals. It just means you have more opportunities to make more money with probates. The secret, I just wasn't a regular probate guy. What I did is I took that extra time and I found the biggest problem with probates. And here's what it was. Lawyers told every seller, and I heard it thousands of times, you cannot sell the property until the probate is completed. It is a 100% factual lie that lawyers tell their clients so they can control their clients. And the fact of the matter is, their clients have the ability at any time before, during, or after the probate to sell their property. Why would a probate lawyer lie to a seller? Oh, that's right. It's money. So the best thing you can do is I teach you on how to educate your sellers that you can actually sell the property before the probate's complete. And let's have a conversation. I'll show you how to do it. Now, I use that as bait so people will meet with me or have a virtual phone appointment, and I explain it to them. And then once I have a contract with that seller, I no longer have to navigate around the lawyer. If you have to ask for a probate lawyer's permission to enter into a contract, you're going to have problems because they're going to try everything they can to stop you from doing it. That's just what lawyers do. I don't even blame them, but that's what they do. And if you understand that in probates and you become masterfully skilled into it, go over to freewholesaling.com. I teach you how to do the whole thing. It's really, really easy. So now I'm going to bring up a little bit of a controversial one. A lot of people don't even really think of this, is work with realtors. And yes, realtors are actually much more humble and much more willing to work with wholesalers, AKA cash buyers, during down markets. Why? Because they don't have a lot going on. So something's better than nothing. And when you have a listing that has become tired and stale, they have to find options for their sellers. And if they have no options and you give them an option, you suddenly become their best friend. So let's go over that. There's 2 ways to work with them. Number 1, on-market deals. Now, I'm here to tell you, everybody and their mother's selling a course on an on-market. Actually, today I got hit with 2 courses. I don't know, a couple $100. And they say deals are going to automatically load into your inbox. You don't have to do anything. You just fill out the contracts. Guys, that's not how it works. That fills someone's bank account and creates more problems for you. If you want to do on-market properties with realtors, number 1, you have to develop a relationship with them. Number 2, you have to find they're tired they're weak, and they're soon, if not expired, listings. That's it. Why? If somebody has a 3 or a 6 month listing, and say it's a 6 month listing, and they're in month 5.5 of it, and there's really no offers, the house has issues, and you come in with that offer, I will tell you, time and circumstance change a realtor's mind. And more importantly, the realtor will change the seller's mind. Why? Because they want to get paid their commission. They're saying, listen, I put this out on the market. The market has spoken loudly. This property needs love. We need a cash buyer to buy it. I strongly recommend you taking Mr. Ginn's offer. It's the only one we have, and I think it's the best one. If you don't take it, I'm not sure we're going to get another one. I have to get the realtors buying to do that. Why? Because they're going to get paid their commission, and it's a win-win. Now, it only works on tired, expired listings, soon to expire listings, and properties that have a lot of price adjustments. This crap does not work on properties just going on the market on a day or two. In fact, the people will teach this is unbelievable. You're going to have to write 5,000 contracts every day, 7 days a week to even have a shot to find 1 or 2 deals. I'm not telling you. Go find the tire of the week, the price reduction properties, because that is an indication there is an issue with the property. There might be an issue with the seller, and it's the market, the reality of the market, on market deals. The market's brutal between inspections, underwriting, mortgages, realtors. It's a lot of work. And if the property's not up to snuff and the price doesn't reflect it, it's going to sit on market. Why? Realtors don't want to show properties that are never going to close and their clients aren't going to be interested in. It just doesn't work that way. Now, that's on market deals. Let's talk about off market deals. Yes, my favorite way to use a realtor are for off market deals. Well, Rick, how do they get off market deals? If 95% of all real estate goes through some sort of realtor, understanding it, they have a lot of conversation with sellers, and they have a lot of appointments with sellers. And most realtors are trained to look at big, beautiful houses that are ready to sell. The reality is there's a large portion of houses that just aren't up to snuff, that people are comfortable working with a realtor. They don't know how to find a cash buyer, and they're going to introduce this property to their realtor friend, family member, whoever it is. And the realtor is going to go, I don't know what I can do with this because I'm going to probably need a cash buyer because it won't qualify. So here's where you train your realtors ahead of time. And this was one of my critical changes in 2008-9 I made. I went around and I met with, it was probably close to 1,000 realtors. It was bad. I got kicked out of a lot of places. It was exhausting. Every day I go out and do sales calls with the realtors, and I physically did them. I didn't even do them by phone call. I set up the phone to do an appointment. I held like little seminars and stuff, and I bring in realtors. And all I said, listen, when you get a property that's not up to snuff, it's not going to pass inspection, or the buyers are going to beat it up, or your seller says, I just want to sell this quickly, call me. I will make you a fair offer. It will be all cash, and it's a simple yes or no. And if your client takes it, I will pay you on both sides of the transaction. And I'll even consider relisting with you if we decide to put it back on the market. That's it. And here's what I learned. I don't want that realtor calling me every day. Quite the contrary. Honestly, if they call me 2 or 3 times a year, I'm happy, because if they call you every other week, they're trying to sell you everything, and you're only looking for like a needle in the haystack. You want them to do the looking, not you. So when they go, listen, I got this lady, I sold her house originally. She's got older. She's let it run down. She needs a cash offer. And then I'll ask her, what do you think in the as-is condition? And I work with the realtor to come up with a price, because the realtor knows exactly what the seller wants for it. By training your realtors to snuff out off-market deals before they actually put them online on MLS will make everybody happier. But here's the reality is, this is a conversation you have to have before they meet with these types of sellers. So I find realtors that are open to working with me. I don't really ever tell them I'm a wholesaler. I just tell them I'm a cash buyer. And here's how many properties I closed. I'm really easy to work with. I want to make a win-win situation. If it works, great. If not, I understand, and you can list the property. And that's how we do it, because realtors understand when the properties are rough, they're going to get beat up on the market and they don't want to deal with it. So why not just take the easy money, and besides, it get paid on both sides. If you do dual agency, that means they can represent the buyer and the seller. And that way they don't have to take the higher offer, because they actually make more money working with your deals. Now, I'm going to share my last one which a lot of people overlook this one. And I'm telling you, man, it is golden in a down market. It's actually golden in a good market too, but it works. I've been doing them a long time. And here we go. Bandit Signs. Oh, you're one of those bandit sign guys. There's a reason people put up bandit signs. It's because they work. Now, the cost of bandit signs has gotten outrageous in the last 5 years. From a guy who used to own a bandit sign company, because I made so many signs, here's how you do it. Go get the 18 by 24 white coroplastid signs, and you can buy them at Home Depot, a little expensive there, or you can find a sign place that'll ship them to you, or find a local sign store and pick up a blank. Just get 10, 20, at most 30 of them. If you want to know a rough cost, they wholesale for about $1 a piece. So if you get them for $1.25 or $1.50, you're doing good. The next thing you do is get those big black Sharpie markers at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's like $2, maybe $3. And then you're going to get the stakes. You can buy stakes at Home Depot, and they're the metal stakes, and they sell them over on the construction side, over where you find the CBS blocks and concrete. And they put these actually in mortar, but you can cut them. And what you need to do is just get a pair of bolt cutters, go over to Harbor Freight. It's like $9 for a pair of bolt cutters. And then you cut them. And your stakes only got to be about that high, about 12 to 16 inches. And it's very affordable to do it that way. Guys, I've done this. I've done hundreds of thousands of bandit signs. They work. You only want to use 3 lines. Ready? Your top line is your eye catcher. Sell your house today. The next tagline is going to be something like anywhere, any condition, any price. And then the bottom one is going to be your virtual phone number. That's it. It works really well. Don't go out and get these custom printed signs, because number one, they're very expensive to make, and they're even more expensive, and they're heavy. They come in big boxes. They cost a fortune to ship. The last thing I want you to do is spend $1,000 on signs to find out maybe they don't work in your community. Now, you want to put them in front of like Walmarts, Home Depots, Lowe's, anywhere where someone can slow down at a red light. And most people pick up their phone and they take a picture of it. Now, I come from the day where we used to write it all down, but they take a picture of it. So if you can't slow down fast and quick enough to take a picture of it, don't put the sign up. Hint number 2, look for places where people are already having success. Outside of political signs, which, depending on what time of year you're watching this video, is look for mattress companies, the ones that sell mattresses in bulk, and also look for dating sites, single sites, stuff like that. They put out the most signs of anyone's, and if they're putting out signs in an area, respect where they're putting them out and give them a little space and put it next to them. And if you're really creative, you can reach out to that person and see if you can do a joint venture on putting out signs. Maybe you put them out one week and then they put them out the next week. It's a huge trust issue. You got to get to know people to do that. But I'm telling you guys, bandit signs work. They work extremely effective. Here's where people make mistakes. Don't write on both sides, because they're very translucent these days, and it will bleed through when the sun's out and nobody can tell. The old days, they were thick where you could write on both sides. Don't do that anymore. It doesn't work. And don't go out and put out 100 signs. Just put out 10, 15 signs and see if you get traction on it. And that is a great way to go out and market and see if it actually works before you invest like $1,000 into it. So I love bandit signs. And guys, I'm telling you, I still do bandit signs to this day. It works. You just got to make sure it's legal in your city, and understand that a lot of cities and counties frown against it. I get it. So I have a lot of areas I can't put them up anymore. So, but I will tell you, I started out doing them. I had Zach do them when he was in high school with me, and he had phenomenal success doing it. And a lot of times, some of the easiest methods we have to get deals, we often overlook because they just seem too rudimentary. And I'm here to tell you, when times get hard, when real estate markets start to go sideways, like it is a little bit now, and guys, I don't know where this is going to wind up being. And if I did, I would be a gazillionaire. But here's what happens when real estate markets start slipping backwards. They don't fall off the cliff overnight. It's a long, slow death. So we're just now seeing some of the effects of the interest rates being raised. Remember, we had very low inventory levels. That's why you're not seeing a massive slide off, but we're definitely seeing inventory levels come up. Mortgages are being harder to get, and buyers are far and few between where they used to be. Now, I'm in Florida. We're still in a relatively hot market. So it just depends on where you are in the country. And I want you to take this training video and understand sometimes the more basic of the marketing method you do, it actually works well. Why? Because you just cut through the crap and the clarity. And I want you to understand that you've got to go out and take the action to it. Like, you're not going to make the 100 grand if you don't go out and do stuff. And so if you're lost, you want to do it, go out and do the Bandit Signs and do exactly what I told you in this video. And you're going to shock yourself on how many leads you can actually get. But I can guarantee you this: if you take no action, you'll get 0 leads and you'll be in the exact same place, if not worse, than when you started out watching this video. So don't be that person. And just don't be. What's up, Jason? How you doing? Is it possible to take over payments on a already owner financed house? It depends. If the paperwork's in there, yes. Most owner financing, they don't write like, you're basically subleasing it out. But honestly, as long as people get their payments, they don't care. But read the paperwork. That's the only thing you got to kind of watch out. Omar says, probate's hard to find. No, you have to actually go find them. The best place is to go down to your county courthouse and ask for instructions on it. Tell them you just want to pull the probates and go from there. So let's see here. Okay, let me get caught up on the questions and we're going to jump on the lives. Glad, like, that's a fear method. So just scrub them off your list and move on. Don't let anybody rent space inside your head, especially if they're going to leave an automated voicemail. That's kind of funny. So awesome. Okay, guys. So here's what we're going to do. You have the comment section there. If you have questions why we're doing this, just go ahead and put it in there and we'll get it answered. And guys, make sure if you're watching this video, make sure you're subscribed. It makes a tremendous difference to the YouTube algorithm, and more people can find on how they can actually get started in wholesaling without getting killed with these ginormous coaching fees. I saw a fee the other day, I almost fell out of my chair. And I know they're teaching a quarter of what me and Zach do. So the purpose is, if you're subscribed to this channel, number one, I really appreciate it. And people ask me, hey, Rick, how can we pay you? You never ask us for any money. If you want to pay us, hit the subscribe button. And also, I put on videos here that I don't put on the Flip with Rick site, and I don't do anywhere else. And you only get it if you're subscribed to the Rick Ginn channel. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure somebody smashes the like button for me. It really helps me out too. Makes me feel good. Everybody feels good. It's a win-win. And make sure you put your comments below. So let's get into it. As I said, if you guys are new here, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach go through in depth, not only how to get your first deal to get you to your first 100K, and I'll show you how to consistently do it every month. Here's a little secret. You actually have to work. I'm not one of these people that are just going to make everything super easy for you. You just got to make it. You've got to put in the work. So without that going, let's jump on. Reggie, there? Reggie. There you are, man. How you doing?
I am good.
What's going on, man?
You know what? It's crazy. Like right before I jumped on the live, I was on the phone with a realtor. Put in an offer on the property. The actual asking price was $375. It's a mobile home, and I was able to put it in an offer for $205. Actually,
really? What?
Yeah, and he counted back at $230. And we were back and forth. We had finally finished out at $215. So right now he was asking me for proof of funds and, in terms of the actual earnest money deposit and everything else. So we're just working on that right now. So it looks good.
Wow. That's an expensive mobile home. Is it like a special location or? Is it
Yeah,
California?
no, it's actually near Tampa. It's
Okay.
actually near in Plant City.
Got it.
And it's actually, when I kind of ran the numbers on it, it's on 2 acres. Believe
Wow.
it or not, it's on 2.2 acres.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually, when I looked at some of the other properties on the mobile homes within the 2-3 mile radius of that area,
Yeah.
they were selling. I mean, I saw like it's actually almost 2,000 square feet. It's 1,800 square feet. And on top of this, it's a 4-2. It's a 3-2. So it's not in a development. It's actually it's like on a regular street, but it's a manufactured home on like a street. It's one of those.
Yeah, but you get the land with it too, right?
Yeah, everything is structured.
Awesome. So it's kind of funny because for the longest time in wholesaling, I avoided mobile homes, and honestly, it was just, I don't know. I didn't honestly. People tried to give them to me, and I wouldn't take them. And then when the pandemic kicked in and stuff, I'm like, we might as well like go ahead and get some. So I sent Zach helped me put together. Actually, we hired some girls, and they went door to door at some of the mobile home parks. We wound up buying 5 in less than a 2-week period.
Wow.
And 5 turned into 7. We wound up keeping 2 of them. We flipped all the others. Very good profits. As much as we did on a single family house, as in the 2 we kept, I've probably put $250,000 on our net worth. And it just, guys, I was avoiding them like the plague. So, and I was buying them in the $10,000 to $12,000 range, and now they're both worth like $150 each, and we've completely paid them off. And to be honest with you, the tenants are a little bit easier. They're very simple to rent, and like we replaced a roof on one of them. It was like $5,000. It was like, it's so nice. 5,000. I know it sounds like a lot, but like, yeah, I'm in the business of doing $300,000 and $400,000 roofs. So. And these things so when I bought them, they were only renting for $300, and now they rent for almost $1,500 a month. So like a cash on cash return, like you can't even get close to mobile homes. The key with mobile homes is, you guys have figured that you got to make sure you own the land under it, because if you don't own the land, it's one of these lease things. They're a nightmare. Like you don't want to buy it because it's the number one product presented to our company, and we avoid them like the plague because they keep raising the rents, so you're never going to get ahead in the game. And the mobile home itself, when my mobile home get bad, it costs me about $65,000. I just pull another trailer on there, and I'm good to go. So we depreciated over the, I guess it's 27 years is what they allow. You might be able to do a mobile home a little bit faster, but they're not like houses. You can fix them up, but at some point you just replace them. It's cheaper. So
yeah,
I love mobile home.
I got it too, because I went Plant City for a family function.
Yeah.
And I just say, you know what? Let me look at what's over here. And then boom, I found it. It's a probate. The guy died a few months back, months back, and has gone through the probate process. Actually, I went on the appointment. I met the realtor. I met the family, and good peoples, but he has he was a hoarder. Has a bunch of crap in there, like a bunch of stuff.
It's a lot of people like that.
Yeah, so it's really, and then so I got back and I looked at the numbers. At first I was like, man, a manufactured, but it was on 2 acres, and it's not in like in a park. It's on 2 acres. It's on like a regular street. There was some big houses. There was some other houses with manufactured there too. So I said, wow, hold on. So I did a little bit of research, and they were selling 300s. Like they were like, I found a few flips, like the actual comps that I used were just outrageous. One of them had 3 acres on it, and it sold for like $450, like $449.
So it sounds like you got strong demand for them.
Sounds like it. I mean, I didn't even know that up in that area in Plant City.
So what are you going to do with it?
Well, that's the whole thing. I'm trying to get it under contract now. I mean,
okay.
I'm trying to see if I can, and hopefully, I'm going to submit it to you guys. See if we could partner on that.
Okay.
So
we just got to take a look at the numbers. So, do you guys? You said you're in the Tampa area?
No, I'm actually from South Florida.
Oh, okay.
I went to Tampa. I went to that area for a family function, and I just wanted to just kind of take a look around, and I found it.
So what part of South Florida do you live in?
I live in Fort Lauderdale, Sunrise area.
I grew up real close to there. So
I know that definitely.
Yeah,
I'm not that far from you guys. I gotta stop by.
No, I go down there at least once a month. I try to go twice a month. It's just the traffic's like it's hard to get around in South Florida because everybody's moving here. But it's okay. Hey, it's done well with the real estate values, so I can't complain. So, well, it sounds like you got that one figured out. What else can I help you out with?
Well, it's in Plant. Just out of curiosity, it's in Plant City, which is only about 20-minute drive from Tampa.
Yeah.
I mean, you got me because I know part of the SellMyPaper.com is that, you know, if it's 20 minutes away from Tampa, is that okay? Because I know buyers.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it. So when you submit it, I'll look at it with Zach. Believe it or not, guys, we look at everything. And some people get upset because I don't accept their deal. Like, number one, you rather me tell you up front to go, hey, does it work? Does it not work? Because so many people lie to you and drag you out and try to option you out. And we just tell you up front if we don't think it's going to work. Number one, if there's not a good population and it's in a rural area, it's just tough because there's only so many buyers that want it. And number two, if it doesn't work out, at least gives you the option for you to pursue it on your own or try to renegotiate it. Or sometimes we work with you on trying to get the price down, depending. Every property is unique and different, so everything's on a case-by-case basis. But I don't do wholesaling to try to make a couple $1,000s. It's just on a 50-50, it's just too risky if it's like too tight. And so we just tell you up front and go, hey, that's a challenge. Here's the issues. Here's what you got to do. And I'll give you feedback one way or the other. But you always have to have a strategy. The only thing that would caution me is like whenever you get these realtors mixed in, they are a pain in the butt. I'm just going to be brutally honest with you. Like they always make wholesale. They're just like, and I don't like to lie to people, and I don't like to get caught like in a mess. And I've had some issues with real wholesalers lately. I'm like, is there a realtor involved? There wasn't one. There is now, and it just gets and then just realtors. Sometimes they just have their own agenda. And I have to be brutally honest. I can't just make this work because I can't pay the realtor, do this, do that. And then both of us split the profit. The numbers just get too tight. So that's the only thing that gives me a little bit of reservation on it because it's, but you know, if it works, it works. So we'll take a look at it and kind of go from there. So what else you got?
Do you have any recommendations for a investor-friendly title company in the Tampa area?
Well, Tampa, there's no shortage of them. Like, honestly, you'll find more in that area. So you got to understand also too, is when you guys are doing flips within the state, like my title company do anything like in the state of Florida, they just do with a mobile notary, it's like really easy. So you can still control it if you have someone you work with in the South Florida area.
Okay.
But if you're working with a wholesaler over in that area, all you have to do is just go into any of these Facebook investor groups. Tampa's one got some of the biggest groups, and just hunt. You're going to see a million. There's a lot of title companies that are very investor friendly for Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa. You guys, I don't know if you know this, Tampa's like one of the real meccas where like wholesaling in the early 2000s, like Tampa was the place to go. Now everybody goes to Phoenix. And the only reason it's just because all the gurus to get together and figure out what they're going to charge for their courses. And they all kind of share the same deals. But Tampa's got some old school boys over there. And but there's plenty of title companies. You'll have no shortage of them. But keep in mind, if you work with a title company like in Fort Lauderdale or Sunrise area, and you're comfortable with them, they can easily do any deal over there. It's just a mail away, or they just do like a mobile notary. So if you want to keep it control, you can still do it like that, and you can control every aspect of it. And these title companies are stepping up and doing online notaries and stuff like that, but you got to be established with them. So I wouldn't worry too much about the title company. It'll be easy.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's it. Appreciate you, brother.
Okay, bud. I'll see you. Hey, you are you above water over there with all that rain lately?
Yeah, we're okay. Actually, man, I was supposed to fly into Orlando the other day because I with the family event. I couldn't even do that. The flight
Yeah,
got
that's
canceled, and
crazy.
then
We've had
the
so
whole
much rain.
airport, the whole Fort Lauderdale International
I think it's
Airport, the
still shut
runway,
down now too.
yeah, was literally flooded. There were
Yeah.
cars that up to the hood had water. So I've never seen that before.
They
It
got
looked
like
like a lake.
yeah, it was like a foot and a half of rain in like less than a couple hours. Like it had to be
Yeah,
insane. Oh my God, you got to
yeah.
get an arc, man. I'm glad you didn't get flooded out, man. Have a good one, Reggie. Good luck with that deal.
So,
Okay,
thank
see
you.
you later. Alec, you there?
Hey Rick, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, good. I don't know if you remember me from I remember I live in I'm in Port St. Lucie, and last time we talked, Zach said do the reverse driving for dollars. He said to send him an email. I tried,
Yes.
but I did go ahead and I got the deal machine on my own, and I've been driving around, but I have some questions. So should I did the mail sender through them. Should I be doing the mail separately and the skip tracing separately, or it's fine to just mail through the app and skip trace through the app and cold call?
Well, I mean, it's to each your own. It's extremely convenient. I never had the luxury of any of these services. I used to do everything on a yellow pad. So um, you just got to figure out if the return's there. One of my favorite ways to do it is when you do the driving for dollars is don't overlook the reverse driving for dollars. Are you familiar with that?
That was my next question.
I got to be honest with you. It's very personable, and it gets the highest return, meaning people connecting with you. Because listen, let's face it, somebody leaves a note on your door and a phone number, you're probably going to call it. It's just like when people text you, like people just drop everything for a text. I don't understand it. My wife's like, you're getting a text. I'm like, it goes all day long. Thanks to you guys. Like, it's like between DMs and PMs, and I get all sorts of pop-ups. Like, I just have to manage my time. And like, people think I'm not rude about it, but try answering 1,500 messages a day. It's physically impossible. And if you decide to do one and not the other 1,499, it's kind of not fair. So it's if you look at the strategy of the reverse marketing with the notes, it works really well. And it's much more instantaneous, especially if you're doing driving for dollars. And then if you want to add your government list to it on any like the pre-foreclosures, that's the only way I would even deal with pre-foreclosures anymore. They're such a nightmare to call right off the bat. And it's just a huge time suck. And you got to figure out how to do it. So I like the reverse driving for dollars because it's very, very precise. But you do have to have a strategy, and you have to be like ready to implement it. I'm just telling you, you're in a city that driving for dollars is, people still laugh at me. We still do it in our company, like all day long. Like I can drive an entire neighborhood and I can pick out 10 or 15 houses almost in every neighborhood of people at some point are going to have to sell their home. I know there's a problem. Like people just don't let their houses go to crap for no reason. So you understand that 90% of Port St. Lucie is single family homes. 90% of it. You have the main highways and you have all the business. It's just absolutely crazy. So driving for dollars, it's just like endless. And I used to do it back in the days when I had that stupid little map, because if you've never been in Port St. Lucie, like it's like sometimes you have to go through a rat maze to get through a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And with the advent of Google Maps, like you don't have to worry about that anymore. But it's I could do that alone. Fort Pierce is another market. Fort Pierce just got announced as one of the cheapest markets in the country, which if you guys know the area, you'll know why.
That's what that's what my next question was too, because the Fort Pierce, since the crime and everything down there, I don't know if I wanted to even.
So Fort Pierce has just like any other neighborhood. There's when you go to the avenues, it's brutal, and I've done deals there before, but I got my back window smashed out. I've been threatened with my life, and I choose not to do that anymore. I did that when I was younger, and I used to have rentals over there, high cash flow rentals, and it's very taxing to get your rent paid in cash. It's very just some things aren't worth it in this business, but there are pockets in Fort Pierce that work very well. The Lakewood Park, it's a wonderful neighborhood. I owned that thing for like 15 years. And everyone kind of figured out about it. More people are doing it now. There's small communities up in Vero Beach. Fellsmere started to wake up. Like this market's like endless. I love Port St. Lucie. The prices are a little bit high, but like the problem is everyone's pouring in here from New York and California, and they think a $500,000 house is cheap.
Yeah.
And you got to understand, we didn't even see 500,000 in Port St. Lucie till this last year. Like it never even existed. In fact, if you found a house over 220,000, like you were doing like great. So I never had a problem buying. But like, listen, here's the thing is, I've been buying in Port St. Lucie since 2003. I still buy it in 2023. What's the difference? It just costs more. But like, here's the beautiful part that you have to understand, Alec, is you can make more on a percentage basis when you do get your deals. So when I used to buy my houses 30, 40 grand, I'd make $3,000 to $5,000 each on average.
Okay.
There just wasn't that big of a spread. Now if I buy a house 250,000 wholesale, and then I can charge another 15 to 25 because the numbers work. And I watched the guys in California do this, and I used to complain when it came here. And now, like, I get it, because on a percentage basis, if the house costs twice as much, then you can kind of like almost double your profit. And if you do wholesaling correct, where you don't have to put money up front, then you can make $25K a deal on a $250,000 house that's really worth like $350.
Okay.
If you get the right type of motivated seller. So don't let everybody scare you about like being oversaturated. And like, why would a guy that's been in the market 21 years tell you how to do it?
Yeah.
Number one, I want you to be successful because you would probably bring me a deal and trust me to work with you in 50-50. That's a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, I don't fear competition. Every other guru tells you, like, do you know every guru, if you tell them like you're doing their local market, most of them won't even like take you in as a coaching student because they're scared you're going to eat them alive, or they're going to scared to find out what they really do for business, and you won't want to do it. You'll get really upset with it. So Port St. Lucie's like, it's a lot more expensive than it was before, but like it's going to go up. And you know what? In 10 years, it's going to be a lot more expensive. It's never going to stop. So it's like, decide what you want to do and just keep doing it. But the reverse driving for dollars, hands down, would be dynamite. The only thing I'm going to tell you not to do in Port St. Lucie is just don't do the Bandit Signs.
Okay.
It ain't going to work well. You can go up more north and do them, like Lakewood Park and stuff like that. But Port St. Lucie, you'll get a notice to appear in court. So yeah, I've been there twice. The third time I'm going away, so I'm not going to do it anymore.
Okay. All right. And so my next question was,
yes,
yeah, I have been doing the driving for dollars. I sent out some mailers and whatnot. I was wondering, I have the time to do it. Do you think I should do any other list or whatever? But because I was just focusing on strictly just driving for dollars.
So driving for dollars is a technique. So what you need to do is just turn on your government lists.
Okay.
And dude, the most valuable list you can get in Port St. Lucie, which is one of the more challenging ones, is your code violation list.
Okay.
Code violations, tax delinquencies. Tax delinquencies, you're going to have to head over towards Fort Pierce. It's in the same building as where people get their DMV.
Okay.
They're a pain in the butt about it. So go over to Free Wholesaling. I kind of teach you how to talk to people on how to get it.
Okay.
And then the next one is you can get the evictions at your local courthouse. That's all 100% accessible, and that's easy to get. Those are landlords kicking tenants out. And I also teach a little trick. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. I think I have it on freewholesaling.com. Is I teach you how to cross-reference garage sales to absentee owner. You know what an absentee owner is?
Yeah, when I
basically a landlord. Yeah,
a lot of those around here.
Yeah, and when we found a correlation, whenever there's a garage sale with an absentee owner, it's usually a bad tenant moving out. And all we do is basically cold call them, text them, or in the old days we used to mail to them. And they're like, "How did you know that I should?" They'll say, "I didn't even know the tenant was moving out." I go, "I just saw a garage sale and just want to see if you were interested in selling." And we would give them such valuable information that we always had the front track on buying the property, and it worked out really well. And we found it by accident. It was a correlation we found by accident. And then once we started doing it on purpose, it worked really well. Now, it takes a little bit of organization. It's a little bit of work, but I'm telling you, The odds of a landlord that has a tenant that's having a garage sale, it's usually not a good thing.
Okay.
It usually means they're trying to raise money to get out of there, and usually they're doing a midnight move out. And you can basically catch that property well before it ever goes on the market, and that's why I like doing those deals. I really, really do.
Okay.
And then don't forget about probates either. But I'm just going to tell you, I would just do St. Lucie County because every county you add in probates become a lot more work. So I would master your driving for dollars and reverse driving for dollars, and then just keep adding on each additional strategy either every week or every other week. So you can get more leads. You have to have quantity. That's the main thing. So I know Port St. Lucie better than anyone, and I'm telling you exactly what I would do. I tell my employees to do this every day. I am all over them about quantity, and we got to get creative to get it because I have a certain expectation, and the more people you talk to, the more opportunities you're going to have. And then look at Fort Pierce and just look at the outlying areas because Fort Pierce is expanding quite a bit. They're opening up I don't know if they're opening up like a huge surf park.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, like a couple $100 million. It's still way in the preliminary stages, but there are some opportunities. People are starting to look to do some nice homes, and there's a lot of still vacant land out there that I'm not a big speculative person, but like sometimes you can see communities start growing towards it, and you can put 2 and 2 together and you can catch it before it really catches on a trend.
Okay.
But you just got to take the driving for dollars, and I would just add the reverse driving for dollars, and you can incorporate some of your government lists in with it. But that personal note, man, it makes all the difference in the world. I'm telling you, when I drive by a nice property and I see like the grass growing up, I'll go stick a note on the door all day long because I'm hoping they call me that day, not in a month, not in 2 months, that day, because it's fresh in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, I put the sticker on there. Now, if I'm going to go out and put in 100, I want to get 15 or 20 phone calls. And that's the best way to do it. Guys, I've tried door hangers. I've tried everything. The reverse driving for dollars is by far one of the best strategies you can get to have homeowners engage you. Hands down.
Okay. All right,
we're gonna run into each other one of these days. I'm telling you, man.
Hey, I hope so, man. I like.
Well, the best way to run in with me is like bring me a deal, man, because I'll come and meet you personally. I don't care, but like I'm really looking for people that are going to go above and beyond. And like, so I work with a lot of people in Port St. Lucie because I've been doing this a long time, and I love it. The people that just go out there and bust their butt and bring deals, like I bend over backwards for them. I'm like, okay, let's get this done. Let's have a good time. And so the best way, I tell you right now, like if you can find a motivated seller, reach out to me and Zach, and one of us will be there to help you out.
I definitely will. I've sent out about 40 emails so far through driving for dollars so far. So, or the postcard thing. So I'm going to reverse drive for dollars to those too.
Okay. Just remember, it's a numbers game, especially when you're starting out, because you got to have a lot of leads to make up for some of your inexperience. But those leads will create an amazing amount of opportunities for you. So,
okay. All right. Thanks for hopping on with me, Rick. I appreciate it.
Okay, bud. I'll see you, man.
All right. Bro.
Okay, later. Dante, you there? Dante.
Yo, can you hear me, Rick?
Yeah, man. Can you hear me?
I can. What's happening?
Man, I'm just chilling in the rain here in South Florida, man. What's going on your side?
It's shiny over here in California, man.
Yeah,
I'm having a good day.
Are you guys done with all that rain over there? Because you sent it over to Florida. I'm like, dang it.
Honestly, I don't know. It might come back. It gets cloudy and dark sometimes, and you
guys got a lot of rain this year so far, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been pouring,
like unprecedented amounts, right?
Yeah, it's been like I live in Northern California, and it got flooded everywhere, like in a couple of towns and cities, and I was like, dang, it never gets flooded like that. So
yeah, no, I was up. Well, if you call, I don't know if you call San Fran Northern California. Is it like central?
Yeah. I consider it Bay Area.
I got it. Yeah, because trying to go to Northern and Southern California in like a 7 or 10 day period, suicide. It's like your state's too damn big. No, I love your state. It's beautiful. I just think it's
crazy.
You guys got crazy politics and like laws.
Oh yeah.
Is it true about that whole real estate on like those mansions where they're charging like a 5.5% tax?
Probably. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past them.
So Mark Wahlberg and a bunch of celebrities, because I think it went into effect like April 1. They were trying to sell their $5 and $10 million mansions, and
Yeah.
to try to beat that 5.5%, 5.5% sales tax, they were throwing in personal appearances just to get the house sold. They were throwing in Bentleys.
I think I
because
heard you
the
talking about
tax was
that.
going to be like the tax was going to cost them a fortune.
Yeah.
Some people took up. Yeah, but it's just absolutely crazy, man. I just like, it's bad enough as it is, but add a 5.5% sales tax on a $10 million house. It's absolutely nuts. So,
yeah. But I just had a quick question for you, man, because I've been pulling these leads and driving for dollars and calling, and so I use this free software only to like help me skip trace. So when I put it in the address, it'll give me the owner name, so I'm not like constantly calling people to figure out who the actual owner is. That's all I use the free software for. But if I pull it up on that free software, it comes up as a trust. That was my big question, because I've got like 20 leads that are trust, and I'm like, I know he said that we could do this, but I haven't found a
well, here's what I do in a trust. So unless like there's a family name in the trust, just call and play stupid. Hey, I'm calling about this property, and try to get them to engage you. Don't try to, I'm trying to call the beneficiary of the Ginn trust or anything like that, because you sound like a sales guy. So the best thing to do is go, hey, I was calling about 123 USA Street. Do I have the right person?
Yeah.
And either they acknowledge it or they give you the person's name, and you try to get that organically. And that's all you do when it comes to trust. Listen, trusts are just a clever way for people to try to plan out an exit strategy on a property. It doesn't change the fact that they buy and sell hands all the time. So the problem is the trust is it makes people uncomfortable because you don't have a direct path to a person in charge of making a decision. So you just have to reverse engineer it. So don't be scared of them, because trust, to be honest with you, trust sometimes removes the personal emotions of selling a property.
Gotcha.
And trust are just exactly what they say. I'm trusting a person to take care of this property. But trust are a timing thing. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. But I find when people work with me in a trust, if you get to the right person, the decision maker, they're pretty unemotional about it. Like, they're not attached. They're like, yep, I want it. Because, a lot of people in a trust, they're not being paid a dime. So I take care of multiple properties in a trust for the family. I didn't get paid a dime. The idea is to make sure no one ever screws this person.
Yeah.
And make sure that they always have the intent of selling the property if that's what they want to do. So most people in a trust are not even compensated. The only difficult ones is when there's a lawyer tied to it. It's a nightmare. Like, you're literally wasting your time 9 times out of 10. So just try that trick. When you see a trust, just say, hey, I just calling on 45th Street, unit 2201.
I've done it before.
I have the right person? And usually they'll say yes. And just go, I'm sorry, your name is? And you gotta like, this is where you got to use like a little bit of common sense to pull stuff out. If I call and say, listen, I'm calling on the Smith Family Trust, do I have the right person? They're going to be like, weird. What do you, well, it sounds like you're selling them something right off the bat. So just find out. Most trusts are very, very simply set up. They're usually boilerplate. The family did it to try to prevent Susie from trying to sell the house out from the entire rest of the family type of deal. But it adds to your numbers, and it works very well. So I've done a lot of great deals in trust. I find most trusts are not that formal, and people have no idea what they're doing with them. So all you need to do is, the only person you need to know in the trust is who's the trustee when it comes down to it. And I don't even cross that bridge till it gets to the title company. I say, hey, are you the person in charge when it comes down to it? That's all you need to know. And that person eventually has to be the trustee. That's all you have to understand. And you're never going to find that information publicly, because the whole design of a trust is to keep it private.
Gotcha.
So eventually they have to bring this information to the title company. So it's up to them to reveal it. So you're never going to find it on public record. So if you're not hunting for it, nobody else is hunting for it, hell, you might as well just ask them.
No, yeah.
And that's how I do it.
Niche thing, huh? Might as well be a niche thing, because like,
yeah, it is. But like
me, I got scared of it.
Most people are listen. Trustees are just regular people. Like, I'm in charge of this. And sometimes when the property's vacant or it's having problems, they're wide open to selling it. And most people are scared to death because they don't know how to skip trace form. They don't know who they're looking for. And then that's the big challenge you have to figure out, trying to get that contact number to try to get a hold of someone. Worst case scenario, you can always stick a note on the door if it's local, or you can just send them a basic piece of mail. and you can put on it to, if it's the Smith Family Trust, you can put on their attention trustee and just put in like a generic note. But it is what it is. The only ones I don't like doing are, I think corporations are a nightmare because most of them are other investors with LLCs. And it's just like, you think they just bought it 6 months ago and they're going to sell it to you at a deep discount. I don't waste my time on stuff like that. I tried that for years. I never got anywhere.
Yeah, those are the ones I just bypass.
And those are the ones that typically lie to you the absolute worst. It usually means they have a property that's so bad they can't tell you the truth about it because they just want to try to get out alive.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the ones I don't want to deal with at all. So don't worry about trust at all. They work well.
Okay, that's good
to
know.
You got?
I got a lot of leads. Honestly, that was really about it, man. I've been trying to ask you that for a while because I was like, I can't find a video on it or anything. It's kind of crazy.
No, trust. And guys, a lot of times, like sometimes we overcomplicate stuff. Even if you're dealing with a probate and you can't figure out who the PR or the executor is, just put a letter in the mail and put to the estate of John Doe. Somebody always goes by and picks up the mail. End of story. They'll get it. And honestly, I have counties that I don't even like. The probate list is such a pain in the butt. Like we can't find who the executor is, so we just mail to the estate of. And it still works, and it's actually easier because I don't even have to overthink it. So when my people put it out, it's just we'll send out 100 letters to the estate of Smith Family Trust, whatever the estate of John Doe, and somebody always opens up. Gotcha. Somebody always opens it, and if that person reaches out to you, odds are it's the PR. They give you the PR's information. So,
okay, that's good to know. Okay,
the
question.
Okay, you got it, man.
So, I keep pulling lists, and then when I go to skip trace them, it'll say deceased 2016 or whatever. How do I find the transfer or like the heir of the property? Because it'll just say deceased, and I'm like, okay, who did it go to? Because I just put in my notes like, okay, it's a possible probate. Try to look into it. So I have a couple, like 30 of those, and I don't know what to do with them. So
where are you pulling the leads from?
It's either like driving for dollars or virtual, because I'm doing a lot virtually and in my local market. So, and it'll be government list too. Like it'll just be stuff I'm skip tracing, and I'm like, oh wait, this person died.
So if someone's deceased and it's coming up on the records, just skip trace that person and look for family members associated with them.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'd be surprised that people handle their cell phone or whatever their phone is. That's the best way to do it, because the reality is when people pass away, not everybody even does a probate anymore. And some people don't do probates because it's not financially feasible for them. So just skip trace the person who passed away. Now, the challenge is when the person's passed away 10 years or more, then you're not going to get a lot of info on them.
Yeah.
So one of the best ways to do that if you're locally is stick a note on the door and see if someone's taking care of it, or like talk to the neighbors. Those are the ones you have to deep dive a little bit more in, but there's usually a lot of profit in those if you can find them. Guys, if I told you the percentage of people in the United States that pass away that still have a property deeded in their name and it's still sitting there, I have like 7 of them right now I'm personally controlling, because it's a bit of a legal maneuver to do it without the probate. So you have to do what they call a quiet title. And basically you have to hire a lawyer, announce to the world, and give people 90, 120 days, whatever your state's policy is, to come out and make claim to the property. And it ain't cheap. And I only do a quiet title when I'm pretty much guaranteed a victory. So I make sure I like take control of the property. So in like our state, you have to pay the taxes for 3 years. You have to establish the utilities, and you have to show you've taken care of the property and you've done everything you can to reach out to any type of family members or anything like that. So how do I wind up with properties like this? They do all the time in our marketing. Why? Because they never took, grandma died 15 years ago. No one ever did a probate. Johnny lived in the house for 10 years and they don't know what to do anymore. I want to sell the property. I'm like, well, you can't. I can't get clear title on it. And so I do like a creative financing option with them. And then my plan is always within 5 years is to clear the title and then be able to take it over with it. Like not everybody goes through probate.
Yeah.
You would be surprised how many people do not go through probate. Now, the riskier, listen, if they've cleared the probate, you can typically get more money in your pocket, because I'd much rather pay them and get a clear title than to go through all that crap, because I do take a little bit of a risk. But on a deal like that, I'll give them $2,500. They sign we put a deed in trust type of deal, a little bit more advanced than I'm going to get into this in conversation. But my plan is the cash flow will cover the property for the next 5 years. And even if I don't get a clear title, I'll still have control of the property and I'll make money till the day I die. So as long as I'm mitigating my losses. But guys, when somebody passes away on the property and the title's still flawed, it is a phenomenal opportunity for a wholesaler. Yeah. Why? Because it usually means people did not have the financial means to clear it up. Most families will take care of it if they can. Now, here's the good news is a lot of times a couple $1,000s will clear up that probate, but you need the family's permission and you need their help and their compliance to do it. And why not? If you don't sell it to me, you're probably going to get nothing for it. So if you do a deal with me, I can get you some money now. And then if we can go through the probate, I'll work with you. But I always preface it by doing a contract up front with them, because if they won't sign a contract with you up front, do not do a deal with them, because you're never going to get your money back. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10 to do these deals, you have to front the money for the lawyer. But I show you techniques right here on how you can actually rent the property out and have the tenants pay for the lawyers. I do that all the time. I don't take risk in real estate. Like, I try to be really, really smart about it.
Calculated risks.
Correct. So if the property's in decent shape, it needs a couple $1,000s to fix it up. They want $1,000 to sign it over. I'm like, okay, $3,000 out of my pocket. I can afford that. There's a time in my life I couldn't afford $3,000. And so then, but you got to understand, when I rent it out, I'm going to take first, last, and security. I'm probably going to collect $3,000 or $4,000 anyways, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not getting into all the legal, like escrow money crap like that, but I've already put myself in a positive thing. And if I'm going to make, $300 to $500 a month within 6 months, I can start financing a probate if I want to do a quiet title. And here's the honest to God truth. A lot of people I find with this, they don't want to mess with any of it. They don't care. So the only way, if they won't cooperate, your only way to clear the title in the long run is to do a quiet title, which is going to cost you $5,000 to $7,000 in the long run. So you might as well find someone else to fund it for you, AKA a renter, and then see where the property goes. And honestly, if nobody comes out in 5 years for the property, I'm very comfortable doing a quiet title.
Gotcha.
And guys, keep in mind, if you can control and just control and manipulate real estate and never really take title, you can still make a ton of money. I got like 7 properties where I don't even technically own them. I just have an agreement because the title's so messed up. And I meet with a title company. They go, you got to do this, this, and that. I'm like, Now, keep in mind, one of them, for a total of $5,000 out of my pocket, but it's a $350,000 property, I'm willing to wait 5 years. Plus, I make $1,000 a month on it. And I'm in year 3. So I've made over almost $25,000 net. So when you find properties with deceased people, you should get kind of excited, because that means someone's just gotten lazy. They haven't finished the paperwork. And so find out what the real problem is and try to solve it, and you can make it work. And remember, you don't have to buy every one of them. Sometimes you can just do an agreement, a lease option, anything like that. And then you can take 5 years to work on it. And if you're making money every month, who cares?
Yeah.
During the short sale fiasco, I turned down thousands of homes, not hundreds, thousands, that I could have probably made $500 to $1,000 a month because I didn't understand it. And now that I know it, I will never turn that stuff down, because I'm not a big fan of banks.
Yeah.
When people walk away from properties, find a solution that helps the homeowner out, helps the bank out, and helps yourself out. If you can have everybody win, you can do great transactions. So when you find someone with a deceased person, try to get to the root of the problem. Is why didn't you guys do a probate, or what is the holdup? And what I'm really looking for, is there a family argument, or people coming after me, or is it just a financial situation? Or some people are just, they don't understand the process. Yeah. But after a certain amount of years, even a lawyer will tell you, you might want to try a quiet title. I'm not giving you legal advice, but there's no statute of limitations with filing a probate, but after a while, it's actually less risky to do it like a quiet title. But you gotta find out what the requirements are in the state that you reside in. So
okay. All right. Well, I just had one more quick question for you, because I know other people want to get on. So right now I'm budgeted and honestly, like no money. And when I'm calling people, so I had actually switched my virtual market. I was doing Ohio, and then I switched to Tennessee, but I couldn't get another number for my dialer, so I'm using a California number. But honestly, like people are still answering. They're not like declining my calls, and like people in Tennessee are like super nice. But what would you recommend saying? Should I just stick to a regular script, like to kind of like not convince, but get people to agree that I'm out of state? You know, because some people get worried about that.
What's the issue with changing the phone number? You want to keep that other number active, and you want to pay for another one, right?
Yeah. So I changed it to Ohio, and the fact that I changed it not even a year ago, it won't let me change it to the Tennessee number. You know, I don't know if that.
The only other thing you do is you could, I mean, if you can get a Google Voice number, I don't even know if you can get them anymore, and get it with that local phone number, and you can put that as a secondary phone number on your thing.
Yeah.
And then just say, listen, I use this as kind of my, this is the number I send out. I got to be honest with you. People are less and less. The way people travel now with like area codes, it's not nearly as big of a deal as it was before. Like
that's what I found, because like I'll call people and
it's just everyone's like, so if a guy comes down from New York to Florida, he keeps it. If I went to California, I'd keep mine. Like it doesn't cost any money to do it. Remember in the old days when we used to have a long distance call, it was like a big deal. But I'm just telling you that's not the deal anymore. So I wouldn't lose sleep, but I would try to get like a Google Voice or even like some sort of virtual phone number that you can put, maybe give them some reassurances if they want to call back on that number. But so a lot of times in your SMS, you go, hey, listen, if you want to call me back, you can reach me on my cell number. It doesn't have to be and it could be your Google Voice and it'll have that area code. You can try that.
Yeah,
that works. Okay. So,
all right, man.
But I don't think it's as big of a deal.
Yeah.
But honestly, like look at your marketing data and see if it is. I was an old school guy, used the local area code, but it's kind of ridiculous now because
people, they don't like, they're not like, where are you from or how'd you get this number? They're just normal, like, oh hey, what's up? What's going on?
Listen, if they don't care, you shouldn't care. So I just move on, and you're only going to make it a big deal if it bothers you.
No, it don't bother me. That's why I was like, I wonder if he'll say something else. But all right, man.
I wouldn't worry about
everything. I appreciate it.
Okay, bud. See ya. Adrian, you there?
Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. I was actually sending out some text messages while I was listening to you guys at the same time.
Okay. What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
I have a random question. It's not typical. It's not about wholesaling really, but I'm in the process of selling my grandmother's house, and she's old. She's about 80 right now, and I was just curious as to like, what do you think I should do with that money? Because I have to reinvest that money. Because like if New York, you know, they rape you with taxes like crazy. So what would you suggest? Like, because I'm gonna get about like $400,000 from her house, so we have to reinvest that money. Do you think I should like maybe like buy and flip my own place, or buy and get a rental?
So let me ask
what would you suggest?
How old are you, Adrian?
I'm 30.
Okay, so is this money for you, or is it for grandma, or is like you take care of all her financial affairs?
I pretty much take care of everything, like the taxes on the house and.
So what's your investing experience?
I don't have any. I'm not gonna lie. I just started at wholesaling right now, like not too long ago.
I'm going to give you a basic suggestion here, because the thing is, how you take care of $100 is how you take care of $1 million. So the strongest thing you can do is not spend it. So here's what you need to do is you can find a brokerage account, a reputable name, Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, something like that, highly reputable. Put the money in there first when you do it. And what you want to do is right now, do you know what T-bills are paying people? Shoot, even money markets, 4%. 4%, buddy. That's not bad money on 400 grand. And the idea is you can put it in there is just let it temporarily grow. And then you got to get massively educated on how to invest. And the thing is, I don't have enough time frame to kind of go into this, because remember, my main focus is to teach people how to generate money through wholesaling. And then step 2 is figure out how to grow and keep the money. So the main thing is I don't want you to lose the 400 grand. So number 1, don't be telling anybody else about the money because that's how people get in your pockets. And number 2, put it in a safe, secure, reputable company that where you can grow it through a money market or treasury bills, which are basically paying 4% right now, which is astronomical numbers with no risk. It's backed up by the United States government. That's where I would start. And then you got to get a wild education on how to invest because there's a million different strategies, way too many for me to go over on this one shot. But the main thing is not to lose the money and let it grow. And make sure you're taking care of grandma too. Like that's got to be your priority.
No, of course, always. But like I said, I got into real estate wholesaling just to get into other avenues. Like I wanted to start. What's the word I'm looking for? I wanted to make some money in wholesaling, then eventually fund my own deals, eventually buy and flip my own houses, eventually get a couple rentals, like a multi-family rental. I wanted to do that eventually.
Okay.
After getting a couple deals under
master
my belt.
wholesaling. And my suggestion to you is keep that money safe and secure and at least have it growing with like minimal type of risk. And you have to become educated on investing because if not, people will they'll just take your money. Money's really smart and it goes to people that understands it the most. So what you have to do is educate the crap out of yourself. And there's no wrong way to invest, but nothing's 100%. The amount of stuff I've invested in over my life, I've learned some valuable lessons. So what I want you to do is get the money put in there, have it start growing, and you understand when your money sits, this is what you do with it. And then when you're ready to strike, that money's there, and then you're going to find a much higher and better return for it. And you have to buy assets. You can't buy liabilities with it. Don't be buying boats, sports cars, any of that crap because it ain't going to make you any money. Make you feel good, but it'll wear off. I've tried it all. It sucks.
Definitely.
You know what feels really good is when you buy stuff that pays you and it continues to grow in value. There's no boat, there is no car out there that can substitute that feeling. And it sucks when you first do it, but after a while, every time I get a deal, I'm broke. I got to go back to work. I got to get more money. And I just I just constantly buy assets. I buy real estates. I buy stocks. By the way, God only knows where stocks are going, but stocks are probably going to bottom out sometime this summer. And then I think you're in for like a long ride up, but I don't guarantee any of that, but it depends on people's risk threshold, stuff like that. Real estate, I'm biased towards that, but I only buy real estate deals where I can control the outcome of the deal. That's it. And if you do stuff like that and understand it, just don't buy crap that doesn't pay you. If it doesn't pay you, don't buy it. That's my strongest suggestion to you. Once you master that, I'm telling you, 3 to 6 months, you can become extremely educated in investing and just understand the risk with each investment class and understand the outcome. Like if people are going to do digital currency, stuff like that, you better have a 10-year horizon on it because that's what it takes. And it could go to nothing just on one government law. But if you buy it at the right price points, you can mitigate some of your risk. I'm a rookie in that. I buy it all the time, but guys, I have no idea what's going to happen with it. So I don't depend on it. It's a very small percentage of my investment. So I'm always going to go with like real estate. But right now with the treasury bills being at 4.5%, you really, that's making more money than the stock market is for me right now. So, and then remember the stock market has tremendous risk. So minimize your risk and grow it. And every month you become more educated when you're ready for the opportunity. When you can earn more than say 4.5% in there and you can minimize the risk, then you keep moving that money to stuff that's going to pay you and your family more. Does it make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And don't believe anyone's crap, dude. Make sure you verify everything.
No, yeah, I always do my research first.
I know. People are crazy, man. So
one more quick thing.
I'm
using PropStream right now to reach out to my leads. And there'll be times where I call a person. I'll give you an example. I'll call a person, and before I even say the name, the owner of the phone, they're like, "No, this is not John Doe. You guys have been calling me for like the last 4 years." So with that being said, what platform do you think it's better, like has more up-to-date information, PropStream or Batch Leads? What do you think?
I mean, Batch probably has a slight edge, but I wouldn't lose sleep on it because, listen, data's not perfect. It never will be. And the more person that gets called like that, the more it gets verified in the data and the more it comes on everyone's list. So you're probably going to get a very similar list from batch. So if you got to spend extra money and stuff like that, I wouldn't do it. I just move on, scratch them off your list and go to the next one. There's always going to be a percentage of bad dials. You're never going to clear that. It's never going to happen. Dude, it's never happened since I've been doing this. And honestly, the service that would provide that would probably cost so much, it would be cost prohibitive. So just move on. That's it.
Okay.
Strike them off your list. Go to the next one. I could tell you to switch over to batch. I just don't think you're going to, like, you got to understand at the end of the day, all these people pay to get their data from different services. And people are either like they're committed to PropStream or they're committed to batch. Each have their specialties. That's why me and Zach recommend both of them. And you get to decide who you want to like focus the most on. We have both of them because we do a lot of volume, but I'm not going to knock either one. I'm not, because they're both really good. I mean, batch is probably a little bit more, but you have to pay more for batch to get more of the advanced services. But on the average, you're just a certain amount of your dials are just going to be bad. It's data. I get people on my list all the time. They don't even own a house. I don't get mad. I just go, okay, whatever, move on. It's not perfect. It's a volume game. So you're going to have some bad. If you're getting called and like 50% of the people are bad, then that's a conversation you got to have with that company. And then I would switch companies.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about a Mojo dialer to get more?
I mean, if you want to do volume, it works. Like a 3-line dialer will crush any single cell phone any day of the week. It's a little bit of a learning curve and it burns people out. But if you want to go for volume, you can't beat it. I mean, they even got more advanced tools. You understand, Mojo was really created for realtors. I wish it was more customized for wholesalers, but the reality is you're just trying to dial people. And I've been in a room with 50 people on Mojo Dialer. It's unbelievable, like the volume it goes through, because I look at the total count. So yes, a Mojo Dialer will be a single caller any day of the week.
Okay.
And if you're calculating your time and what the value is worth, it's probably worth it, because dialing one at a time is painful, but it works.
It is. Trust me.
Yeah. Give it a shot. But there's a lot of services out there. You just shop around and see what the 5 and 6 line dialers that's a little off the hook for one person. You don't know if you're coming or going when you get stuff like that. So, but test them out and see what happens.
All right. Also, at what point in, like you would say, like in the beginning of your wholesaling career, would you look to instead of like putting an assignment on a contract, maybe do like a sub 2 or like a BRRRR method or seller finance?
Okay, so yeah, the BRRRR method has nothing to do with wholesaling, and honestly, it is completely dead right now. Don't even consider one right now. You'll get killed, hands down. Okay. They just don't work at today's interest rates. And number 2, a subject to, either the opportunity presents itself or it doesn't. You can't force someone to do a subject to. In most cases, when I do a subject to, or even you should be the only solution to the problem. So say the house is worth $300,000. They owe $289,000 on a mortgage. And for them to sell it, they got to bring 40 grand to the table to pay the closing costs and the realtor. You think they'd be open to doing a subject to with you because it's that, or keep the house? They've already told you they can't afford the house. So that would be a good fit. As far as the assignment, I recommend doing an assignment on your first wholesale deal period. That's the best way to learn wholesaling. It minimizes your risk. You make a great profit. And that's the best way if you can do that strategy with wholesaling. It's the way we teach. And honestly, it's the cleanest, most minimum risk you can take in wholesaling. Now, the profit's going to be a little bit less, but you learn a valuable skill when you do an assignment, a contract, and you don't risk your own money with it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Subject to, they just have to fit. You can't, either they work or they don't. Most people I do a subject to, like Rick, I don't know what I'm going to do if you don't buy this house. That's how I do them. I don't sell a subject to. And honestly, a subject to is typically on my wholesale list. And I'm like, well, you just owe too much money on it. And I'll say that you open to a creative suggestion. And they'll usually say, Rick, if I don't sell the house, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm like, well, I got an idea for you. You got to hear me out. And I make sure I'm the only option for them. And then that way it either makes sense for them or it doesn't. That's it. Okay.
All right. And one more quick thing.
Last one.
So when I send out my text messages, just hear me out. Let me know if this is a good pitch or not. I don't. I try to say different things. I just say like, "Hi, good evening. Are you the owner of 123 Main Street in Brooklyn, New York? If so, are you interested in selling your property at the moment? I'm Adrian, by the way. What do you think about that?"
So I want you. You got to use AI when you write some of this stuff. Which service are you using?
For text message?
Yeah.
Google Voice.
Okay, but do you use a platform to deliver your text?
No,
or
I
you doing
just
one thing? Okay.
do it myself.
When you ever have a chance to pay for a service, you can check out the one scrolling on the bottom there. The really cool thing, and the only reason I suggest it, you don't have to do it. Like you can do all this stuff for free, is they rotate the message for you so you don't get caught. But what you have to use, just use Chat GPT and come up with like 50 variations and rotate them, because you're going to get busted on your own service by doing it. And remember, you're asking way too many questions. If so is a very marketing statement. You got to get rid of that.
Okay.
So, but use AI because it's actually smarter than I am. I'm not even sitting there lie to you. Like it will write all your stuff for you. And the thing is, you can ask for like 30 different variations of the same question. It'll give it to you every time. And then you can just cut and paste it all in there. This is where AI is going to change how wholesaling works, because you don't have to rethink every different variation. Just come up with it. And then look at it, and if it makes sense to you. But like, remember, the value of texting is it has a high delivery rate as long as you don't get busted by the carriers. And number two, it's got to seem like almost your friends talking to you. So if you make it very salesy, very like template-like, they're going to know like you're trying to do something. Okay. So, hey, are you the owner of 123 USA Street? And then sometimes just had a quick question for you. And then just go through AI, Chat GPT, and then just put in a million variations, and you can put it all on a spreadsheet and just cut and paste it. Never before, dude. This used to take me and Zach weeks, and now we can do it in minutes. It's insane. Check it out. It will change how you do your responses. You never have to send the exact same text to anybody.
All right. How do I get this from smszach.com?
Yeah, check out that part. You can see, I don't know if they have a trial version, but that's an all-in-one platform. It does the whole dang thing for you. It's absolutely amazing, and we use it in our business. I got to tell you, they've already integrated AI and stuff like that to help you out. But if not, just go and Chat GPT and build up your own bank, and then start doing that so you can vary it up, because people, they're going to catch on to what you're doing after a while. Trust me.
All right.
Okay, Adrian. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Appreciate it, man.
Okay, guys. So listen, if you are new to this, make sure you go over to freewholesaling.com. I put it down there on the bottom. And guys, as usual, please make sure, where is it? I always lose stuff here. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Hit that subscribe button, the Rick Ginn YouTube channel. Also check out my son on Zach Ginn, his channel. And I will be back on, well, Zach will be on tomorrow on the Flip with Rick channel, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then me and Zach will be on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern together, doing our fun, going over our wholesaling business. So check us out there, guys. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is Rick Ginn. I'll see you soon, guys. Go out there and get some deals. Let's